G'day guys, welcome to this week's weekly developer update. I'm CW, and joined as always I have Armenia. How are you, mate?
Doing pretty well. That's good. Good update this week. A lot of different stuff to cover.
Yeah, obviously from sort of the Christmas break up until the Chinese New Year and everything like that, people have been away on holidays and spending time with family and friends and doing whatever away from the blockchain itself. But we've got a nice significant update. We've got some new faces. We've got some old faces coming back in and providing some updates. So one of those is actually Ladopixel, and quite an interesting little project here around audio NFTs and creating an audio NFT player for sort of the tokens and the NFTs in the Ergo ecosystem. So I think that's a pretty cool little update.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that type of creative tooling. Music and art both have this ability to potentially spur like grassroots community movements. There can be like social engagements and games and contests and all kinds of nonsense and fun, let's say, that can be used to kind of bootstrap community and actually grow that segment of the ecosystem. So I know that Swamp Audio, Terahertz are kind of still chugging away at their beta. Last I heard they're working on let's say getting a final audit. Looks like we have a new interface, potentially web-based, that could play audio NFTs. That's really cool. So I'm excited to see what that community can do. And one thing that kind of came up in the AMA this week had to do with governance, right? And I do think that as we have better tools to actually put creative ideas together to grow these kind of decentralized communities or projects, we'll see a lot of interesting stuff unfold, because then you start to get mind share, right? And people, they have skin in the game, right? They have skin in the game in some sense. So it gives them the ability to work together and create unique solutions to grow and solutions for business. So I'm excited to see that. It's probably one of the things this year that's kind of, I don't know, been an undercurrent that hasn't quite surfaced for too long, right? I've been waiting for, like, Ergo team was one instance of that, and that kind of got delayed due to, I think, Anon Real focusing more on the auction house. So that type of joint spending management DAO infrastructure, I think, is going to be huge if people use it.
Yeah, but exactly.
There's an incentive too, I think, where if you have some skin in the game, why not have a say? Why not create your own value? It's proof of work, just a different type.
Yeah, exactly. And on that NFT front as well, like, I think it's one thing that's really underutilized, and the potential there is pretty big, because if you look at it from just that DAO perspective, like the management of sort of a collective of artists or something like that, in a traditional sense, being like a record label as well, like they can basically make or break people's careers by saying yes or no and things like that. So having a collective of people and managing their own career and distribution of funds and management of treasuries, even down to royalty payments in regards to sort of transfers of NFT sales and things like that. Like, it's a really interesting space, and I think it's could be really well utilized on the from the audio side.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating. I know we've seen a lot of like art collaboration, and on the NFT side, where different artists and projects will kind of create like their own merged work. It'll be interesting to see that in music too.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, just one quick question: when are you going to do a singing NFT?
Me? Oh, gotta get me pretty drunk, man. Then I'll go karaoke on you. I'm not against it, but you kind of have to get me over a certain threshold of variety, and then it'll happen.
Beautiful, mate. We'll look forward to it. All right, well, let's jump into this week's developer update. So kicking things off this week, we have Gambit. So it's just been helping Ergo lend with some wallet connections and transaction things. It's just testing some quicker bets. So it looks like it works and will probably release both fast plays and auto refund. So for buggy plays where the user signs a transaction but nothing happens. And at the same time, probably have it completed in about 1 or 2 weeks. And then after that, we'll probably be listing both EGIO token and Flux tokens. So the Flux team's already provided some Flux to start with. So be interesting to see how that comes about, because that's sort of interoperability gambling. It's pretty interesting. And next up, we have Bitmasks.
All right, C8E4D2A. It rolls off the tongue.
I had to make you say that one.
It's good to have them back in the dev update. Those of you that don't know, Bitmasks originally was working on an NFT project that allowed for a kind of reading or upgradability. I guess somewhere along the lines of what probably the most popular project was like CryptoKitties back in the day. Looks like they're bootstrapping a little creepy project called Infernos to test minting, chaining, and the core part of the breed and mint pipeline. Looks like their website will go live in the next week. Breeding features will be deployed, looks like over the next 3 weeks. And it looks like you're going to take little demons and demons are going to get their freak on, and you can breed them.
Watch awesome. This space.
That's actually a really good way to test Bitmasks, you know?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I can't wait to see what comes of that. You breed different characteristics and things like that and see what pops out the other side. Okay, so next up we have Greenhat. And one of these team members, Mo, has hunted down the issue preventing the weak reference, so TC39 support in Sigma Rust, and outlined the options to fix it. And Greenhat himself finished adding Bitpanda source for the gold USD pair and calculated the golden erg pair with coin cap, so combined aggregated sources. And there's a link there. Pushed a new version 2.0.0 beta 5 release for the Oracle framework and successfully migrated the gold erg testnet pool to 2 new units. And on a work in progress, he's digging into the custom wasm bynum, wasm pack release to enable the weak reference TC39 support in Sigma Rust. Another work in progress is looking into block deserialization failures. And next up, we'll start testing the governance in the gold erg pool on testnet. And as always, every week, encourages everyone interested in running their pool to start one. Has documented the processes to do so on the following link, and the current progress toward the release is tracked on the roadmap. Scrolling down, we have Lato.
All right, looks like Ladopixel is working on this audio NFT player. Is waiting for a friend to finish the interface design to finish and publish to the site. I dropped a Twitter link, and yeah, I hope that as that segment evolves, we find a nice way to support that as a community. Certainly, socials are one way. We have the Sigmanauts account that has I don't have no idea how many followers. I never check.
55,000.
Yeah, it's not a small number. And then we also have the Ergo_ platform account that has a bit more of an audience that maybe we can leverage that, help grassroots ecosystem take off. That'd be cool.
Yeah, most definitely. So following later, we have Ilya from Spectrum. So on the Spectrum network side of things, he's working on the protocol specification, Spectrum finance on Ergo. This is for the LM side, so fixed deposit redeem validation in the first epoch in the pool contract. Off-chain now is fixing orders. The loss in case of service restart. Fixed the bot hanging due to token spawn blocking, and updated the LM protocol to the latest version. Spectrum Finance on the Cardano side, working on the AMM off-chain. The node feedback processing when submitted transactions is a work in progress. And then on the front end, prepared the IDO page for the public round, added additional variables to the glass morphism CSS, and the Ergo Analytics order history API is a work in progress. And finally, adding support for the SPF execution fee.
All right, looks like after that we got Alex. Did a lot of node and protocol development. Looks like you got bootstrapping with NepoPals working in branch 1937. Got bootstrapping with both the NepoPals and UTXO snapshot working in a rough form. He removed NTP from the node. He's assembling and reviewing an upcoming 5.0.7 reference client release. And this week, he did publish a text on the cryptographic and protocol assumptions in Bitcoin and Ergo in terms of the different bootstrapping methods or modes. So those of you that are interested in learning more about, I guess, the cryptographic and protocol assumptions, hop onto the forum, and it's definitely a great read. And even if it's a little high level, it's certainly a good place to start asking questions.
Just definitely highly encourage everyone to jump on there and read that paper or that post. Sorry.
Yeah. And then on other matters, it looks like he's reviewing some new tests for DEXY. Also, he's reviewing the options contract by hailypdll, and considering a Ergo hack project with Scalahub that would not be prize oriented, but just be for fun. I'm actually considering doing the same in parallel, different things, so we get like a non-competitive Ergo hack within the Ergo Foundation.
Yeah, it's an interesting point there, because obviously, being from the foundation, you want to dip into funds and things like that. Like everyone understands that, but it shouldn't exclude people who want to participate also creating something as well. So. Be looking forward to seeing what yourself and even Alex come up with.
Yeah, he wants to be a judge or a referee. It's better to play.
True. Okay, so following Alex, we have Morphic. And then on the Sigma side, the next Sigma is version 5.0.4. It's been merged to the master and will be released once the Sonatype publishing issues are resolved. Also prepared the next Sigma PR for review. Reviewed and provided feedback on the Pool 857. And then next up, we'll be publishing Sigma 5.0.4, ScoreX and Dbox on Sonatype.
All right. Looks like next we have Luivatra with Paideia and ErgoPad. Looks like they've started exploring the use of Ansible for server configuration and deployment for their services, making system administration stuff take less time and hopefully minimize manual errors. They continued work on Paideia contracts and off-chain code. The reason he looked into Ansible is because we used a bunch of time on server system admin related tasks that were not planned in. Hope to avoid that in the future. And if there's anybody interested in what Ansible looks like, it looks like he scratched the surface. It's a pretty capable tool with a lot of functionality. And so they've pulled that into their GitHub. Those of you that are interested in learning about what that's going to do for Paideia, feel free to hop on.
Next up, we have hailypdll, and then working on Sigmao, which is options. they're working on refactoring the contract to make it more generic and be able to create options on any Ergo tokens. That's pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
And
That is pretty big.
Here's one the community sort of actually seen some posts about this throughout Twitter as well. So I'll let you take this one away.
Sure, Rosen Bridge. It looks like they've been, still beating the hell out of it as they move towards the public test, which is always good to see. Just proper, development practices there. Sometimes that creates the soon issue, but it's always a good thing, in my opinion, to break it before it goes live. The Rosen Bridge, it looks like they encountered a memory leak issue related to Sigma Rust and provided Greenhat with some requests to add weak references and fix the issue. It looks like on their side, they did some mitigations as well. Looks like the tests are going well today and tomorrow. They'll do probably their last round of private testing. Now, again, probably always depends on how it flies in the air, right?
That's it.
If successful, then they'll deploy the public test as soon as possible. So ASAP is the old version of soon. Good progress on the UI for watchers and guards. The front end development of these apps has gotten started. Those of you that want to look, they dropped that at the bottom of this update, and it's pretty nice looking. I'm not really a UI guy. I don't really notice things, but it looks pretty good to me, right?
Yeah, it's a nice little bit of eye candy there. It's pretty nice, I've got to admit.
Yeah, some optimizations for better air handling and logging have been tested and added in Rosen. Since last week, some branches of the GitHub will be automatically synced to allow the community to see the latest updates. So they're continuing to open source things as they're stable. The Ergo faucet has been updated to AppKit 5 to allow for a distribution of test tokens in the next day. That way, once we get the public test, I would recommend everyone that wants to use it beat the hell out of it. It's the best thing you can do as a user is just play with things and see if you can fall through them, get them to freeze or break or spit out airs.
Yeah, exactly.
Looks like on the Minotaur wallet, they found 3 bugs. On the Mac OS, the copy paste is not working. On any platform, it allows you to deselect the network type. If you deselect it, it will crash due to an unknown network. And on any platform, you cannot manage the wrong XPub in multi-sig creation. It'll create a crash. So it looks like on the next release, tonight or tomorrow, that's going to be fixed, which we can assume by the time this video comes out. That'll be fixed. Looks like on the MultiSig Wallet, EIP42 is published, which allows for other wallets to now add multi-sig support based on EIP11, which is very big. So I'm really looking forward to see EIP42 get pulled into other wallets, and then we're going to have multiple multi-sig wallets, which is just really cool. And you have the kind of standardization behind it, which makes it that much better.
Yep.
And yeah, now we're getting into the charts, and the UI is looking pretty good.
Yeah, as you can see, we've got the dashboard there, home screen. There's a number of analytics. There's a nice little green button on the top right of the home screen there. It's a health check saying OK, which is all nice to see. There's auctions, health check, observations. There's an ability to check events and all kinds of things. So, nice little UI there, and hopefully it's a nice little user experience for the users utilizing this bridge framework. Okay, next up we have Andrew from ergogallery.com. Starts off by saying, "Hi everyone, just launched my leisure and learning project around a week ago, and it's called Ergo Gallery. And the idea is to build some sort of like an NFT explorer for Ergo, should help to make the collections more visible and allow to filter by certain traits and sort by rarity, etc. And there's already 3 collections listed, and he's learning on the go. So thanks for putting this together. It's a valuable sort of resource for the NFT community. Also thinks that a tool like this was missing for the NFT community and should help people from other chains get into Ergo NFTs more easily.
Absolutely. That's big.
Yeah.
That's a big little tool, right? I know that, who was it? There's a stake pool on Cardano 21 ADA that, back in the day, it was running like a lot of NFT stuff, and I was in their chat. And, Cardano had some pretty nice tools in terms of scanning and learning about rarity and, kind of searching different projects, seeing what was what. So it's exciting to see that come out on Ergo. I hope that that becomes something that users and artists leverage and, really foster some growth. So cheers.
Yeah.
That's a great tool to see, Andrew.
Nice little utility there. And I dare say my wallet probably won't like it.
Yeah.
Making it very easy to be able to sort of explore traits, like you said, rarities, etc. So, thanks for putting that one together, and look forward to seeing its growth.
All right. Looks like next we have Captain Nemo on the Nautilus side. They released version 0.7.2 with minor bug fixes and new asset icons. With SigmaFi, it's now on the public beta at sigmafi.app. They added TVL and USD. They added a KYA modal. They improved the loan and collateral ratio badge and did some various small bug fixes and improvements. So, that type of P2P lending is an interesting thing to start seeing. I'm really curious, how that can be iterated and expanded and really built out into its own unique, let's say, DeFi build.
Yeah, it's great to see all these sort of lending options come to light and sort of pop up out of nowhere. Like, obviously this one is a public beta, so obviously there's a nice little warning when you actually visit the website saying basically know your assumptions and understand the protocol that you're interacting with and everything like that. So obviously being a beta, use sort of a little bit more reservedly there and jump in and have a little bit of fun, try and break it.
Yeah, beta is something where it is still considered under testing. You can say the longer something is in beta, the greater you can assume that it hasn't, doesn't have an issue. But you can always be the first, unfortunately.
Yep.
So be careful out there, everybody.
Okay, so next up we have HQ, and then on the ErgCube side, it has completed the community calendar. So anyone can list an event. If you have something coming up, by all means, jump on. Added ErgoPad IDO section, which will show the short description and dates using the ErgoPad API. They had some issues and some data that was not showing up properly. Then added also some podcasts. All 78 podcasts are now listed, and we'll add a download option later. So thanks to Rust in My Eye for managing the podcast side of things for the ecosystem. And then on the community calendar, as you can see, already started feeding the announcements personally, but we'll share a simple guide so people can submit upcoming events and announcements. There's the link. You can see add news. Then you can submit your announcement. So if you're a project or a user or anything of the like, by all means, jump on there and provide your updates for the community.
Awesome. Looks like after that, we've got Scalahub, and it looks like he's been working on various soundness test cases and bugs fixes for DEXY, which is great to see. Looks like beneath that, we've got Quokka from SkyHarbor announcing that ErgoPay transactions are almost done. It's being built using Fleet SDK, so that's great to see Fleet support ErgoPay.
Yeah, definitely. I think, is that possibly one of the first projects to utilize Fleet? I'm not too sure. Or make it public anyway.
I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head, to be honest.
Yeah, it's one thing that's kind of piqued my interest there. So following Quokka, we have JD Ergod with the NightOwl update. Is working on finishing up the swap page, specifically the transaction building functions, and then has divided up the remainder of the work for the roulette page. So, for example, the full bet workflow. So it's good to see the guys back in there and working on that.
All right, looks like next up Satergo .com, which is also ergonodes.net. It looks like the version market chart is fixed, and it is quite interesting. More versions are collapsed into older in the version pie chart. So we've got a new update. Now, it is true that Alex is a beast, and he tends to throw out reference clients like one time, twice a week sometimes. And yeah, some people, are almost in pain trying to keep up to date. So it'll be that much nicer when we get a more rapid sync.
I've been guilty of being a little bit lax in updating my node at times. Haven't been previously there was someone running a node version 3 point something, so that's just kind of a little bit ridiculous, but I haven't been that bad. But yeah, it's an interesting chart, this one. It looks kind of quite psychedelic. So next up we have Pulsarz, and then there's SigmaExplorer. I recently switched to hosting to IPFS, and it broke all direct links. So for example, you've got a link there. I switched to GitHub pages now with some workflows set up, and as a result, direct linking is working again. Retrieve tokens info in large batches now instead of one by one. So it's useful on transactions with a lot of tokens. And the source code is now available on GitHub.
Awesome. All right, looks like next we have MGpai with Ergo Sapiens. Looks like he's created a metadata JSON standard that suits the version 2 NFT collection EIP. He's modified the Node.js art and metadata generator to output this JSON standard, which uses Blake 2B 256 hashing. That's awesome. The off-chain bot consumes this JSON standard and enforces it for user and issuance boxes. The off-chain bot is close to completion. So that's pretty great to see.
Yep. And scrolling down, I think we've got one more from a non-real for the auction house. It starts off by saying, sorry for the delay. So is improved search results showing the collection of the matched artworks, better activity recording. So the bidders, the sellers, and the buyers of auctions are now recorded in the activities and shown in its page. On the price chart has been revisited again. So using activities API instead of bids API to be able to show all prices in Erg, even if some bids were in SIG USD in the future. Extra checks to unlock wallet while sending requests to the Ergo node. Fixed infinite scrolls in notifications, sending multiple unnecessary requests to the back end. Fixed in the back end. Decoupled activities from notifications in the database. And the verification process is finalized and will be implemented in the coming days. And they're close to a private artist test. So nice to see a lot of progress on that front.
Yeah, and it looks like right underneath that, Alex came in and said, win Lightning Network forum post. And Unreal said it's half done, got busy with other things in the middle of it. I got one more unfinished forum post besides that, and looks like he'll put in some time to finish them. So I'm looking forward to that.
Soon.
Yeah, give him the dopamine duck. I'm ready for that.
Oh, I love it. All right, mate. Well, that sums up this week's weekly developer update. Another interesting one, and it's good to see, like I mentioned at the top of the recording, a number of projects coming in and providing updates again.
Yeah, I already know what a lot of the core team is doing and what their roadmap is, so it's not as exciting for me to see that. But when you have Lato show up, and when you have new NFT tools and things that are grassroots community driven, things that will make the ecosystem better, more resilient, and hopefully easier for people to do business and however they want to do it. That's exciting to me.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of the times in the week that I look forward to is jumping on here and running through the updates. And like you mentioned, seeing the NFT utility there or number of NFT utilities being an audio player, but Ergo Gallery having their first little announcement here, and even NightOwl's Quokka with the SkyHarbor update and numerous other projects. It's awesome to see everyone coming back and providing their updates.
Well, it just goes to show, I think, just the beauty of grassroots community, right? Who knows what people are working on that didn't show up, and hopefully we see them next week. So everybody out there that's playing with things, feel free to hop on, join the discussion, reach out if you need any help. That's what the ecosystem is all about.
Yep, definitely, mate. Very well said. All right, well, that sums up this week's weekly developer update. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and Joe, it's been a pleasure chatting once again.
Yeah, always.
Take care, guys.